With a lot of things in life, it's very easy to compare ourselves to others. As a photographer, things are no different. Being any kind of artist, we are the biggest critics of our own work. We can go out and shoot some photos that we are really proud of, edit them, and then share them on Instagram, and then start scrolling and see all of the other photographers doing the exact same thing. And it's easy to get into that toxic mindset that your photos will never be as good as those other photographers, and then all of a sudden the photos that you just shot that you were really proud of are not as good anymore. You may think, why do they have so many followers and I don't? Do they take better photos than I do? Or you wish you had the camera that they have because that's the only way you'll ever be able to get the photos you actually want to take and have them come out exactly how you picture them in your head. And yeah, maybe they are farther along in their photography career or their journey, but we always seem to forget that they were once where we currently are, that we are all on our own individual journeys as photographers to work and improve and better our skills, and we all begin at different times. Another example would be you see a photo of someone traveling somewhere, and it's somewhere you've always wanted to go, and you're jealous that they were able to go there and take those photos that you've always wanted to take. That jealousy can start to consume your mind, and it's easy to draw comparisons and jump to conclusions. That I could do what they do if I had more money or more time, and you know what? I could do it better than them because I would have shot this way instead of that way. And for both of those examples, I've been there before, and I'm not proud of it. Yet, at the same time, I feel like it was necessary to go through these thoughts and emotions to better myself as a photographer in the long run. So, one of the most important lessons that I've learned in my 8 years as a photographer is to stop comparing yourself to others. Before I was a photographer, my family never really traveled a whole lot. I live in North Carolina, and I think the farthest I ever traveled away from home was probably Florida. So as my interest in photography grew more and more, I began seeing more and more photos of people in these places like Iceland and other places across the world that I felt like I could only dream of ever visiting. I would get jealous because I felt like I would never be able to take good enough photos because I can't travel to all of these places, and who knows if I ever will. It discouraged me from going out and taking photos of the places I knew and I was familiar with because who cares about those places? It's not as cool as Iceland or Norway or wherever else. Then one day I was walking around the city taking photos where I live, and it clicked in my head that there's a whole lot more people that haven't seen this place than there are people that have. And that's when I began to really appreciate where I live, and I began taking photos of the areas surrounding where I live more and more. And even now, in some ways, sometimes the photos of the places around where I live, they still feel boring in a sense. But I know there's plenty of other people who will appreciate those photos. But for others to appreciate my photos, I have to learn to appreciate my photos first. Now, you may not have this issue if you grew up in somewhere like New York City, but since I grew up in North Carolina, and I grew up around these sites all of the time, everything just kind of seemed boring to me. But I slowly began to appreciate the beauty of where I live and all of the surrounding areas, and I feel like it's necessary to do that before you actually start going out and traveling to all these places you dream of traveling to. And I won't lie, sometimes I still get jealous because I see photos or videos of people going to these places that I still really want to go to. But my mindset has matured enough to know that one day I will, as long as I keep working toward that goal. And whether I think it's the cost of traveling holding me back, in reality, the only thing holding me back currently is my lack of patience. Last year, I drove across the country to photograph one of those bucket list locations, which was Route 66. I went to all of these places that I had seen in photos for years, and I finally made it happen. All because I decided to step out of my comfort zone. I had never driven across the country before, but then one day I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I went to all these locations without the desire to take the same exact photo as everyone else or try and do their photos better. I would get to these locations and I would just take the photos that I felt like taking or the compositions I saw that maybe I had never seen before. I simply enjoyed the process and the journey and told my own story without trying to replicate someone else's story. I look back at those photos and the locations I went to, and of course there are shots I wish I would have gotten, but I didn't. But I don't look back at them and think, I wish I would have gotten this photo or this photo. I think about the memories I made when I went on that trip. And when I see other photographers post photos of those same locations, again, it just reminds me of my own story, my own adventure I made on that trip, rather than even my actual photos. And I'm not comparing my photos to their photos anymore. I'm no longer jealous of their framing and compositions, or maybe the unique lighting conditions that they had in those spots that I did not. And now when I see those photos of the places I do want to travel to, I get excited because I know I'm working toward that goal of getting there and being able to travel to those places, just as that photographer had to work toward that goal as well. Moving on from that point, the act of traveling and going somewhere to take the photo, that's only the half of it. Before you have a complete finished photo, you still have to edit it. Ironically for me, I was just as jealous of other people's editing style or skills rather than the actual photo itself. I would buy Lightroom presets, and then when my photos did not look like their photos, it would discourage me and then encourage me to keep on improving my own editing skills. And it took years before I actually got to a comfortable place with my editing. And even now, I still find my photos and my editing style constantly evolving, and I've had to accept the fact that, I may never get to that point where I'm actually happy with the way my photos look. And I would be willing to bet my life on the fact that those photographers that you are currently jealous of for whatever reason probably feel the exact same way. So in a way, I guess the most important lesson I've learned isn't even necessarily to stop comparing yourself to others, because that's really hard to do. It's a natural human instinct, but it's just to simply enjoy the process and the journey that you're currently on. I know it's not that simple to stop comparing yourself to others because, like I said, it's a natural human instinct to be jealous and compare yourself to others who might have more money or take better photos or just be more successful in general than you currently are. But we just naturally gravitate and draw comparisons to those people that are farther along in their journey than we are. I've been using the word journey a lot. I hope it makes sense. Whether it's their creative skills or the amount of money someone has or the house they have or the amount of friends that they have, the list could go on and on. But no matter who you are, whose photos you see, we are all striving to be better, and we may never actually reach that pinnacle point. And the goal we should always be working toward is enjoying the process of photography and where we currently are. And I don't look at my old photos and disregard them as trash. I look at them and I see growth. And I will end on that note. So let me know in the comments down below what the most important lesson that you've learned as a photographer is, and we can help others with this. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to help support me. And I hope I could inspire you guys to get out and take more photos. Go out and shoot.